Over a suspected Russian spy ship just off Hawaii. The U.S. Coast Guard now says it is tracking this ship. So how close is it and what it's doing there? Martha Raddatz and what she's learned tonight.
Tonight, the U.S. Coast Guard carefully monitoring this Russian ship prowling the waters off of the Hawaiian Islands. And not just any ship, a vessel the Coast Guard says is believed to be an intelligence-gathering ship, a spy ship.
Ships loitering in an area is abnormal, and with this one being a Russian vessel off one of our key naval harbors in the Pacific, that will be of concern to the naval leadership.
Indeed, Joint Base Pearl Harbor is one of the Navy's busiest, with some of the most sophisticated and secret warships in its arsenal. It's where we boarded a boat that took us to a nuclear-armed ballistic missile submarine last year off Hawaii's coast. The submarines do not like to stay above water for long because then they are detectable. Exactly the kind of submarine the Russians could try to learn more about by dropping a tracking device underwater. But there is another possibility: sabotage.
They could be mapping some of our critical infrastructure that comes in and out of Hawaii, fiber optic internet and communication cables, for example.
The Russians have a right to be in international waters, but making the concern public lets the Russians know we're carefully watching. And David, the Coast Guard tells me that the Russian vessel has been moving anywhere from 100 miles off the Hawaiian coast to close enough to shore where you can see it with binoculars.
Binoculars, that's quite something. Martha Raddatz tonight. Martha, thank you.
Official. And tonight, China is responding, criticizing the U.S. for what they're calling, quote, an obvious overreaction and a serious violation of international practice, saying they reserve the right to take further actions.
Just shot it, dude.
After several days flying over the United States, the large Chinese surveillance balloon the size of 3 buses was shot down.
They successfully took it down, and I want to compliment our aviators who did it.
The Chinese government claims the high-altitude sphere was a weather balloon blown off course. U.S. officials say that's not the case.
Was it cameras? Were there signal intelligence capabilities? They're going to rush to the site to try and pick up the debris, piece it back together to see exactly what the Chinese were using to spy on those sensitive sites.
The giant balloon first entered Alaska airspace last Saturday, traveling across northern Idaho, Montana, even over far southern Illinois, according to U.S. government trackers.
On Wednesday, when I was briefed on the balloon, I ordered the Pentagon to shoot it down on Wednesday as soon as possible. They decided without doing damage to anyone on the ground.
Prominent Metro Chicago congressman who sits on the House Intelligence Committee, Raja Krishnamurthy, calls this a brazen violation of sovereignty.